Monday, February 7th. I don't know where it starts or where it begins, but the general feeling was future. It was a future. At first I thought it felt like it was at first I thought I was processing. I thought it was a junk dream, because some of the scenes remind me of what I saw yesterday. So like that, like I was processing stuff. But the more I sat with it, I was like, no, there's something else. There's something else. And then I started remembering some of the other scenes where I'm like, no, I didn't even connect with this person. There are a lot of scenes. The ones that stand out, it felt future oriented. It felt it felt very like my ex was there. There was a scene that we're together, not together, but we're just together in the scene. And there's this element of we're not together, like we know we're not together, but we're reconnecting. So there's this awareness that we're not together, and he's showing me like what he's doing. He's showing me what he's been doing, because we haven't been together. And there's this element of like we're okay with how we are, and what he's showing me. It was just, I can't pick up something. So that's another indicator that it was like the future, because we were talking more, and right now we're not. We're just texting here and there, not really, just that birthday message. But we're not really talking on the phone like we used to, not yet anyways. But in the dream we were actually hanging out. We were actually hanging out like we used to. Like when we first separated, we would still go out to dinner, we would still talk, we'd catch up. I mean, we still had stuff that we were involved in, but we hung out. So it kind of felt like that, like we went back to being able to hang out and talk about stuff. So that was one scene. The other scene, I'm with someone, and this person had this is why I thought it was just a junk dream, because one of my homework assignments is to watch the Feminist on Cellblock Y, which is, so it's a great video. It's on YouTube. I think it's on YouTube. I'll see if I can put the link. But it's a really good, I mean, I'm not done with it. I'm like halfway in, but so it's about inmates in this program, peer educating, peer-led group that helps them kind of deconstruct the patriarchy and the impact of it in their families' lives, cultural, right, impact, and just helping them see things from a different perspective. tapping into their emotions. So in my dream, I dreamt of an inmate, and there was this feeling of like I was dating one or dating someone who was an inmate, or dating someone who had trouble with the law. Something like that. Or I was waiting or something. So that's why I thought it was a junk dream, because I was like, oh, I watched that, and they're all, shaved heads and stuff, and so in my dream, that's I was either waiting for someone or dating someone who had trouble with the law. So that's why I was like, I thought it was a junk dream, because it was something I saw yesterday. But the other scenes weren't from yesterday. So there's that scene. The scene with my ex. There's another scene where it reminded me of the Titanic. It reminded me of the Titanic. It reminded me of the ship. The ship. And you know how like it hit an iceberg, because there was a ship, and instead of it being hit at the beginning where it topples down, there was something about it in the middle, something about it being impacted in the center of the boat. And I was inside the captain's room, the where they make the announcements, right? And if you remember that scene in Titanic where he goes in and he does that little palanquita thing, right? And he's communicating to the people down below to like close everything off, right? So it was a similar room, but instead of that, and here's the trippy thing, like it starts off being like old school, like there's this feeling of old, and then there's this feeling of new, like this like the past and the future feeling. Like that's how they used to do announcements, and they were telling everybody to close all the windows for some reason, like close all the windows, like to block the water from coming in. And they were showing me the what I saw was this old way of doing it, and then the new way of doing it. So it was like a shift. I was seeing the same room transform from the way they used to do it to a more modern way. Something like that. And then it shift to this scene. It felt future. There was this element of it being in the future. And it's ice. The same scene. It was the same scene before the ice occurred, or snow, or frozen, before it got frozen. It was the same scene, and then an after, like it was again this before and after theme in my dream. There was this before scene, and it's this wild, like out in nature. It's like out, and there's people studying the plants, And then when it gets covered, when it's frozen, because it's the same exact image, only then it's frozen, like, but it's frozen intact. You know what it reminded me of? Do you remember that movie, The Day After Tomorrow? When there's that eye of the hurricane over the land, and it just freezes everything, and everything just kind of, you know, it just like, it freezes everything in that moment. That visual appearance of the frozenness in everything, like in detailed frozen, like that. That's what it. But so it was like the before, where everything was still alive and green, and then it was the after, where it was the same image just frozen, and there were people arriving to do studies, and one of them felt like it was my daughter, but she's grown up. She's a scientist or something. Some type of like scientist, like something like that. But what was interesting, the feeling that I got was the plants. There was she was studying the plants, and the plants had like a memory. There was an emotional connection, emotional memory. It felt like memory, of an emotional memory, but it wasn't from my daughter. It was from the plants. It was from the plants. The plants had emotional memory. Like there was this emotional, like I don't know how else to explain it. Like there was this emotional memory coming from the plants as she interacted. Like she was familiar with the plant. Like she had interacted before it was frozen, and she was interacting with the plant, like studying it, but I could feel the plant, like there was an emotional connection to my daughter. What seemed to be my daughter, or this person. There was an emotional connection to her from the plant. It was an emotional connection from the plant. So like the plant remembered her, and she was trying to tell her team, like to be careful, that, yeah, because they were being very careless. There was not almost, but there was that risk of they were being really careless, and she was just like, no, don't, like, be careful. It's so weird. It reminded me of do you remember that movie Annihilation? That fascinating movie. I mean, it's like really dark. Like it's sci-fi, but I mean, there's an element to that. Not so much of an emotional. I don't remember that movie really well, but I don't remember there was like an emotional connectedness to Earth as in that bubble as things were changing. But that's what it reminded me of, because as she's interacting with the plant, like the plant is interacting back, but there was just an extra, like it felt very advanced. It felt very advanced, the plant. Very yeah. That's weird. But it was also another one of those where it felt it felt far away. It felt far away. But also where it felt like, oh, it's a junk dream. because of that one scene. But when I thought about it some more, I was like, no, like there's all this other weird stuff happening, and it very, it felt like there was a lot of symbolism, like, yeah, like a before and after kept repeating in the dream. And there's other scenes too, like I'm just remembering another one right now where I'm interacting with someone in an apartment. Oh, that one doesn't make, I don't know, I just want to record that. That was weird. But okay, I need to get ready. But I'll see if I could find that video and include the link. If not, I recommend it. The Feminist on Cellblock. Why? That's a really good video. Alright. Hi. My name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience, and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me.